I'm gonna be brief tonight. I appreciate anybody that joined me or anybody that's watching. We'll be on again in a couple of weeks unless something blows up.
A glitch.
Another glitch. They said they were going to be able to pay you this month. We met last week and they've got the glitch ironed out now finally. So hopefully that'll happen on I guess it'll be Friday week on the 23rd is what I'm hoping when it'll happen. But supposedly they got that taken care of. All right. So let's look at task stream quickly. As a reminder, evaluators evaluate the 6 evidence artifacts. That'd be like the APSEL, the OMA, or that you see on the screen now. Coaches, you folks evaluate School of Ed dispositions and competency analysis. Those are going to start coming in, as you know. And let me see what this chat question is. I'm trying to get sound to Phyllis. Phyllis has not got sound yet. So please remember that you'll need now. If you're slow, I'm going to beat you to them because I'm trying to get this stuff turned around in 2 days. You know, one of the big concerns, and I'm guessing that it didn't come from up the hill. I'm getting it from up the hill.
Okay.
But I'm guessing it didn't come from them because when we switched last spring, when we switched from 5 semesters to 3, the folks up the hill wanted to do that. Well, the Cape people don't seem to be real happy about that. So
Why?
Well, not that we did it, but that we just did it and didn't understand that we were going to have to change the pacing. And so the Cape people have asked, what did you do to make sure that they can get through in 3 semesters rather than 5? What processes did you put in place? And they all went, duh, we don't know. So they called me up the hill last week, and I said, well, here are all the things that we've done, you know, to make sure that they can get done in 3 semesters in terms of the shells, the pacing in the classes, and all those kinds of things. And I said, but one of the bigger things is that we're doing a 2-day turnaround in task stream rather than a week turnaround now. And they were like, well, that's all good ideas. And I was like, well, that should have been thought of before you did this rather than after the fact. That's Kate's problem is, yeah, we see you're doing things, but you should have been thinking about this beforehand rather than after. And so, as always, we're kind of playing catch up. And so I told them that we would do a two-day turnaround. Of course, I'd already planned to do that anyway. So they could go back to Cape. So, when you do, and I'll do these 2 right quick, even though they're not mine. When you do your School of Ed dispositions, you score work, you open theirs, you see what they said. I know D. Tyndall. He actually exceeds all of our expectations. He's probably the best student we've got in 603 right now. But I'll give him a meet. I just always give them whatever they thought they had. I know D well, and so you just simply do that. Meets requirements, record as my final, and then submit it. That's it. So that's how that goes. And then for competency analysis for 605, all of you 605 folks, again, score work. You can open it up. Now, on 605, all they have to do is just rate themselves where they are, because please remember, they had to do a complete competency analysis in task 6 of the SIOP. So that's where you go and look at it for real. This is just, you just give them a 4 on all of these. I'm going to try to do it without. I'm going to do it just giving the 4s. This is for the 605 people that we've got this semester. From the 5-semester program, you have to give them, this is the old style. Of course, we've got a new style now that's just MET, but this is the old one, and that's why I wanted to show you this one tonight. This is the last cohort of the old program that still have all of these different bubbles and boxes and all that. From now on out, it's just MET or not MET. But you will have some of these this semester. So when you see this, it's not a mistake. Please remember that 16 cohort from fall of 16, they've still got the old style competency. You got to take time to go to every one of these. Now, it may not let me, sometimes it will, and sometimes it may make me go back and put an X in every one of the boxes, but I'm going to show you this just in case. Okay, I'm in math. It's 92. Let's see if it will let me submit this. If it doesn't, I'll have to go back. Hey, I didn't have to put the X's in the boxes. So if you get an error statement there, go back and check all your bubbles and make sure you hit all 23 of them. If you missed one, or 21 of them, if you missed one, that's it. If you go back and all 21 of your bubbles are done and it still won't let you submit it, you'll have to go back and put an X in each of those dialog boxes. Some of them you do, some of them you don't. And I have no idea what delineates that. I have no idea whatsoever. So, again, coaches, you have to do competency analysis and you have to do dispositions. You also, when the internship logs start coming in, you have to do, none of those were here today for me to show you that one. But that's just a met or a not met, and you should have seen it in comments. Please remember that you can't see their competency folio or their internship log until they request comments from you. It won't automatically pop up, so let me show you that. So if I go to my reviewer screen and I go to fall 16, that's the group that's finishing this semester in 605. See, like Brent, he has requested comments on his competency and his and other things in his folio. And you can also see that I have some, that's all that has requested comments so far this semester. I don't have many left. But when they request comments, you cannot see their competency folio until, so you can see, I've got 9, I think. 7 of them haven't requested anything, and so they're not there when I go to reviewers the page. It's just not there. They have to request first, so you need to remind them. You need to see their competency folio and you need to see their internship log before they upload the log for evaluation over for the DRF. And also, once their competency folio is done, you need to see it in comments. Then you have them move it over to the DRF where you can grade it. Now, here's the problem. If they move it over before you see it, you may not be able to open it because of the size of it. So you need to remind them, hey, I need to see your competency folio before you submit it. I need to be able to give you comments on it and then have you submit it. So what they do, let me switch out to student view here. All right, so if I'm a student and from, I'll do spring 17 here. This is the same as fall. So what they'll do is they go where it says, I sent you a video, all you 605 people, and I put it in your shelves. But I'm going to do it again quickly to remind them, once you have viewed it and it's ready to go, you have them come to their DRF portfolio and import it. You can't export it from the competency folio. This is an import. Very important, because you'll get questions. They'll say, I can't make mine go over to the DRF portfolio. Where are you working from? Well, from the competency folio. No. You have to import it over here. You don't send it, you go retrieve it. So you go to final competency folio, you click on it. You click on attachments. Upload a folio. That's the third of the choices in the box. Select the category. It's a web folio. This is on video. I've already sent it to you. A 2-minute video. The folio that you want.
Dale, who handles this? Well, like my 605 class, we've talked about this, but this will be their internship person?
This will be their clinical coach too.
Oh, okay.
Their clinical coach too will grade this. Once they have commented on it and it's good, they will do that. And then add file. And now it's there. That's the one that just put on there a second ago. And then save and return. And then submit. And that's all they have to do. Now, I've made you a 2-minute video that shows that. You should all have that for them to do that. But remember, 99% of the problems you're going to have is they'll go to their folio and can't figure out how to make it go to the DRF. It's a retrieval. You come to your DRF, go over there and get it and bring it back. If you can remember that, it's pretty easy.
So once we comment and they upload their final, it goes to their evaluator, right?
It goes to the clinical coach to evaluate that. Clinical coach does internship log, competency folio, competency analysis, and SOE dispositions. Evaluators only do evidence artifacts, period.
Okay.
That's why we pay them the big bucks, the CC2s. That's why we pay them, because they have to do 4 evaluations, and have to do and do the internship shell as well. And that's why, you know, we only pay piecework for evaluation. We pay $50 per evidence for the evaluation of that person's evidence. So coaches have to do those 4: internship log, competency folio, competency analysis, and SOE disposition. Those are the 4 that you folks that are coaches have to do of your interns. That's CC2. Remember, CC1 just makes a visit. All right, so that is where we are right now in tasking. I'm moving the work through. If you get a notice and you are a day late getting in, then I've already got it and we've moved on. I won't take your money because you're not getting enough as it is, but I've got to keep us on that timeline. That's what we have promised, that timeline now, and the folks are up the hill are you know, now they're all, you know, now they're interested in, are we staying on our timeline? That would have been an appropriate question to ask before we moved to 3 semesters, but not that I would point that out to anybody. But you can imagine how happy they are to see me when I go up the hill. All right, so that's tasking. All right, so let's talk quickly. Remind your students when they get out of tasking to always log out and not just click off. Always sign out. I'm having more of those problems lately too with students. I can't get into my account. Well, did you log out last time? I don't know. Well, then that means no. I don't know means no. And if you didn't sign out, then that means that's your problem. All right. I want to talk about the intern shell. You know that if they put stuff in for comments, you have to go to your discussions tab. Let me make sure this. Yeah. You have to go to where it says discussions. I'm working in Joey Bullis's shell. Right here's his discussions. Click on discussions for students who are asking you for comments. Now it's going to look like he hadn't done anything, but that means that I haven't read these. He probably doesn't have any of these. But you know, unread post is where you click and you can go in and read the post. That's for comments along the way. Now, when they get to the end and they start submitting things for evaluation, you simply click on Grade Center, needs grading. Now, you're gonna get questions about, well, I can't see I can't see my Turnitin. The student's job is to simply upload their final evidence narrative from the 6 evidences in the Turnitin box. They do not get feedback. You get the feedback so that you can see what's going on. And so what you do is when you come here and you got one on a Turnitin assignment, you simply click on that Turnitin assignment, and I'm gonna grade this one. Now, this is the screen you're gonna get. You can say, Dale, I don't see anything. Well, you don't, but you gotta know where to click. If you'll click right here on this little smiley face icon that says Originality Report and be patient, it's going to click up, it's going to turn up the results from this submission. Now, move these pictures out of the way. Over here is the number that counts. This one right here. This is the one we're looking for. We're looking for this one to be under 55. Because of the directions, you're going to be at about 30 simply because of the shared direction. And if it's higher than 55, click on it, and it will tell you why. See, just like this, 26% of it's just directions. And you can see that's the way it should look right there. Everything looks good on that one. And so what you do is once you see that everything is good, you simply close that screen. You're back on the main screen again. You come here to the grade, take out that exclamation point, put 100 in, and then in the comments box, excellent, submit, come on. Submit for evaluation in task screen. And then.
So Dale, are you still in the discussion, just the discussion, or
I'm in Grade Center.
You went to Grade Center, okay.
Needs grading, and I'm gonna do it again. Once you do that for Turnitin, it'll kick you out, and that's what it's supposed to do. So to go back and get the next one, I go to Grade Center, Needs grading, pop that up, and it will show me any Turnitin assignments or any other assignments that need to be graded. I'm not going to grade his other assignments for him, but I will do another Turnitin for you. Click on.
I see that, but mine are putting stuff in different places. And then when I go to the Grade Center, I've only got like 2 there.
Well, it's either there or discussions. That's the only 2 places they can put them.
If it's in discussions, they can't put it in, go right there, go down a little bit there. You can't put it in that evaluation drop box? What's that?
Oh,
somebody have put stuff there.
That's what comes up in Grade Center. Any of these are linked to the needs grading button.
Okay.
I did not hook the discussions to the needs grading. I could have, but they're supposed to have, that's supposed to be formative. They're supposed to have the opportunity to submit work to you and not get a grade on it. Okay. Back to CAPE again. We have to show a formative and a summative evaluation in the internship part of the MELS program. And I'm doing that in this same shell. Instead of doing 2 shells and confusing everybody, I'm doing formative and summative in the same shell. So I can't link the discussions to all the first set of boxes up here for review. I can't link those to Grade Center because that would make it formative. That's the way I had it done in the other one. They said, nope, can't give them a grade on that. It has to be no penalty, no grade on that one. It's supposed to be for feedback only. So the first set of boxes for review, you simply click on discussions to go to those. One button, and it will show you any of those boxes. Anything that goes in the drop boxes, you simply click on needs grading, and it'll take you to those. I've got 2 hot buttons for you there, so you don't have to go to every one of those boxes. But I have to do 2 buttons. I have to have one formative, one summative. Okay. That's the CAPE evaluation.
Can they just do the final one rather than each piece?
Whatever you want them to do. I just told mine all I want to see was the end.
Yeah.
I wasn't writing their papers for them. Wouldn't pay me for that.
Dale, while you're on that page, scroll back up and let me ask you real quick. You know, I had asked you today about templates. Click on that where it says templates.
There's just 4 in here. There will be there will be, let's see where
it's on up higher. There you go. Let's see, up all the way above the clinical Zoom.
All right, so here are the only templates that I've approved.
These are just the OMA and SciAP in there today, and that's what's in the handbook. So that's okay to use. Okay.
Yes. This is the first class. And then halfway through the second class, I'm pulling the rug out from under it.
Okay.
I'll get you started in the OMA for the second, for 603. I'll get you started with a template. But then the
Okay.
second half of that course and the skip, just like mine are going to right now in 603, make your own template. Get down, get down and walk for yourself. I can't raise you and coach you your whole life. It's time for you to, do something on your own. Make your own template. You saw how I made them. Make your own. I'm to the students. I'm concerned that they're expecting us to do it all for them. And so I stopped specifically at the end of the OMA. And then I did make one for the PSYOP but all it says is go here and get that.
Yeah.
It tells them where they can go back and find all those things. It doesn't do it for them, but it tells them where. Now that's going to come in handy, especially this summer when we have all this mob that we got in 603 now. It's only got 10 weeks this summer. That's going to come in real handy, so that they won't spend a month trying to find all that stuff. I tell them, go here and pick. I'll open that one up and I'll show you what it looks like. I mean, it's. Let me move that out of the way. So that PSYOP template just says, it just has the instructions. It doesn't even have sections. It just has the instructions. And it tells you, all right, for your background information, description, your setting, go to skip task 1, prompt 1. That's where you'll find it. And for your prompt, your first prompt, right here. So you can see I didn't even do sections. I just told them, this is where you'll find that stuff. Now, what you make it look like is up to you. You should be able to figure that out by now on your 6th one, how you want to format it, but I'm just telling you where to go and get the stuff, where you'll find that information. And that's what I've done with them all the way through.
Okay.
And I've given them an example of the graphic organizer and the PERT chart again.
Okay.
Now,
when you were in that section that says needs grading, not all of my stuff has Turnitin.
No, I mean, there's just one Turnitin for each one of those evaluation drop boxes. There's just the final one. Turnitin is just for the final one when they put it all together, when they're ready to go to task room with it. Last thing they do is go to this drop box. I'll just pick one at random. The last box is the Turnitin one. It's for the. You don't want them doing Turnitin on the individual tasks.
Okay.
Because then it won't, when they put the final one in, it won't show us, it'll show us 100%. I want them to, I don't want to get bogged down in this.
Okay, yeah, I see now. I see now. I wasn't looking them down at the bottom.
We're only paying y'all $150.
Yeah.
And so I don't want but one Turnitin. I mean, if we were paying you $4,500 to work with a student or some ridiculous amount, then we could do a lot more. But I'm trying to have hot buttons in the quickest way that we can do it, but still satisfy CAPE. So I have a section for formative evaluation here and a section for summative here. And I have this is required by CAPE that we do Turnitin. Of course, that's why Sydney and Jennifer got up at the winter conference and did that. They probably didn't. See, I remember curriculum people tell you things like, what a wonderful idea this was, and it'll make better work and all that. I'm an operations person. CAPE said we had to do it, so that's why it's there. Let's move on. It saves a lot of time and effort and energy on my part. I'll just tell you when stuff's required. I'll just tell you that. I won't try to argue that that it's good best practices or any of that. CAPE said formative and summative. There they are. CAPE said Turnitin. There it is. That's what this shell is designed for, is to meet CAPE. To meet the CAPE standards. And we all know that the State Board of Education has now adopted CAPE standards for licensure, so it's a moot point now. We have to do this stuff. So, and that's why we're doing it. So I'll quickly go back to needs grading again. This is the stuff that they put in the drop boxes. I'll do a Turnitin on LaTarja right quick. Again, you go to the little originality report button and let's see how well she did. 35, excellent. And if we open that up, we'd see again 28% was just directions, and the rest of it's all good.
Dale, I'm gonna go.
3 or is it 4?
Do what now?
I've been seeing that, and I've sent it back to students. Evidence 3. I thought the OMA was 4.
No, almost 3. When we switched to 3 semesters, it changed to 3.
It became 3. Okay.
Yeah, that was January of 17. It became 3.
Okay.
That was part of what had to be revised when we went from 5 semesters to 3.
Okay.
All right.
Dale,
So
what was that Turnitin benchmark number you mentioned? I wrote down 55.
55.
So that means they have to be lower than 55?
That's correct.
All right. I got the okay.
Now, if it's over that, I have one that was 69. You can go in and see when you click on that number, it'll give you the breakdown here. I had one, and hers was she had some reference from Penn State, and it was like 20-something% because she hadn't cited it. As soon as she cited it, she was back where she needed to be. But this will tell you if there's something big like that, what the problem is, or it can just tell you that they've copied somebody else's paper, and it would have them right here. It would have Henry Tyndall, 32%. That means she copied 32% of her work from her classmate Henry's paper. That's when you have a problem. So now students are wanting to know why they can't see this. Well, because they can't. You need to see this and adjudicate it. I mean, and it saves some problems too. I've got some that are fighting in their groups about who's doing the work and who's copying whose paper and all that business. And this just exacerbates that. So let's try to avoid that. So that's why why you should just be doing this. And so you click out of the feedback studio. Again, you come back to the student. Now, the next biggest problem is the students don't know where to find this feedback. And I'm going to show you that. All right. All right. So now, when students, let's pretend now, we'll go to mine. We'll get out of his shell and go to mine in case I blow something up. All right. I can't get access to a student shell. For whatever reason, they don't have that capacity. So I'm going to go to my intern shell. So let's pretend this is a student shell. When students say, I don't know where my score is from Turnitin. Over here in their menu, they should have one that says My Grades. And then when they get in that, the default column is graded. If they're not on that, and it will show everything that they've had that's graded, including Turnitin. Now, if they don't have a My Grades, and I have one last night, I don't have that. Well, you simply go to Tools. And there it is. And you can actually put this on. You can actually go to, they can click on it here, their grades here, or if you want to get really fancy, you can have them go here to the plus mark, tool link, and they can add the tool link. And name it My Grade. And guess what? There it is. They can actually move that tool link to their menu, just like we do with anything else. And you just go to the plus mark up here, and then tool link, and then select My Grades and name it the same thing. And you can move My Grades. They can move it to so that they have a hot button. So anytime they want to see any of their things that's been graded, anything that's been graded will show up in that. Or you can just have them go the long way around, click on Tools, and then My Grades. And it will show their grades for anything that you've graded in that. You can do the same thing. Now, this is supposed to be standard in their class shells. But if they're telling you in their class shells, I don't see my grades, this is how you do it. This is how you go about making sure that they can see their grades. I will probably make a little video. I made one like this before, but I'll make a new one. I'll probably make a new one tomorrow on my grades so they can see their Turnitin scores. But I don't want them, when they complain, I can't see it. I don't want them seeing Turnitin. I want you to see it and adjudicate why it's what it is. That'll save a lot of trouble down the road. I've already got two groups that are fighting among themselves over who's copying who. And I don't want them pulling up and seeing that somebody copied 17% of theirs. I don't want to have to deal with that. Hoorah. So, so that's, the Turnitin is just for you. And you can see why it is what it is. If you have an issue or question, let me know. And I'll be glad to try to get involved and adjudicate what the problem is. But it'll tell you if they're copying from somebody. It'll tell you exactly who they're copying from. And that's what I like about it. We need to know that. If we let them see it first, then they may go in and change things. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know who's copying who or what's going on. So that's pretty much it. That's kind of this week's issues. Work's coming in really good. The quality of the work is great, the best I've ever seen. Not because I've had anything to do with it, but the work is coming in. It's really good. We've got some that are being laggards again. I want you to help and support them all you can, but don't write it for them. I've made it clear. I will not be reading stuff that's only partial, like a skeletal framework and say, what do I need to add? No. You write it and I'll tell you what's good or bad or different or what you're missing. But we're not going to play that game where I write it for you. So we're about to weed all those out, though. Those kind of, they self-correct. They get out of the program once you figure out we're not going to write it for them. And they can't just copy and paste stuff and turn it in, because we're checking them on Turnitin now. But the only other thing I would say is the only other problems I'm having, and it's a very quick fix. I have one when I come online next week with his class. He's already said, he sent me an email, said you can use me as the bad example in class next week. I said, oh, I already planned on. I'm gonna make a certificate for you, nitwit that you are. He had too many pictures. So when he turned his final one into TaskStream, it wouldn't load for the evaluator. You know, in the evaluation, when they do evaluation of evidence artifacts, just like you saw the split screen a few minutes ago when I was looking at what they had put in, and then I had the grading rubric on the other side. Well, a lot of the evaluators want to do the same thing. They'll pop up the paper on half the screen, and they'll have the rubric on the other half. Well, if their papers exceed a certain limit, about 17 megabytes, it won't pop up the grading rubric. Well, we told them in 601, you got to take out some of these pictures. They've fallen in love with themselves. It looks like they're on a dating profile. It looks like Facebook. I had one guy had 12 pictures of himself, and it was all these little glamour shots. I was like, oh my God, take those out. You get one picture. Well, I had one when his came back that it was too big. He left all of his pictures in and took task 5 off so that he could leave his pictures in. I can't make that up. I can't make that. I was like,
I can't believe that.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen a grown person do. He took task 5 off. He was willing to take that much reduction in his grade so he could keep his pictures in there. That's like, so I swear I'm going to make a certificate end of the week for him next week. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Why would you do something that dumb? Why weren't my pictures left in there? Well, I don't know.
You be careful, Dale. You remember I got my hand slapped that time? I said it was the worst thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, I know. I don't care. Nobody, no semi-intelligent or literate adult would not agree with me that he was the biggest idiot in the program.
How did he get in here to start with?
So he could keep his selfies in his paper. Nobody. Now they may not like that I pointed that out. I'll take that shrapnel. But you can't argue with me that he's an idiot. I mean, that's just, we hold some truths to be self-evident. He took a whole task out of his paper so he could get it small enough and leave his pictures in. I don't know how to help him. I'm not smart enough to help him. Could you imagine hiring somebody that dumb? Could you imagine hiring?
Well, I keep asking ourselves, how did he get in the program to start with? So we brought him in.
Oh, I'm self-inflicted. I fully understand that. It's self-inflicted. And we did this to ourselves. But I can't imagine turning him loose out there to somebody in work. He would take part of his work out, a fifth of his work out, so he could leave his selfie pictures in. It's a new day, folks, I guess, with social media. I guess he thought he was on, a dating website or whatever. His pictures were nice though. They were like glamour shots. So he had all dressed up and had a bow tie on, and, had his hair done, and I was like, I just don't know what to tell you.
I needed a good laugh.
Yeah, I did too. Except, the evaluators just didn't think it was funny at all, though. Been dealt with 3 times already, and it still wasn't right. And they're thinking, I only get paid $50. That's not enough money to deal with somebody that's done. That's just not enough money. The evaluator had to deal with him 3 times, and then went all the way through it, evaluated, and got to task 5, and it wasn't there. We have to start again, send it back, and start again, and. 3 times it took, and I'm like, all I could do is apologize. It's like they said, we've spent 3 or 4 hours here on this one, plus the time waiting for it to come back and all that. That's the part of this that is seriously that bothers me, is these folks burning up the time of people who are not full-time people, who are only doing piece work. And I know we're not paying enough already, and then for them to have to go through something like this is just kind of aggravating to me. And that I appreciate what people do, and I know we don't pay enough, and you don't pay enough to have to deal with it 3 or 4 times, the same piece of work. If you do it the right way, it takes a long time to grade this stuff. It really does. If you do it the right way, it really takes a long time. I know they kind of expect it just to kind of give it to once over and move it on, but you can't have a quality program if you don't spend the time on the evaluation side. It won't be good. So I appreciate what you do. All right, I'm gonna let you go to supper. I'm gonna go watch it snow a little bit longer here.
By the way, I got 8 inches up here. Everybody wants to come up and do some skiing, and I've got 8 inches behind me.
Wow.
We're sitting on top of that mountain.
Oh, yeah. Listen, and we just got flurries down here in the flatlands, but it's still pretty. I think the sun's about to come out now. I'm hoping it won't freeze over tonight. I hope the roads will dry up so I can get out tomorrow.
Yeah, they're calling for another storm up here tonight.
Yeah, I think that something's going to come through here after a while, about dark, and we'll see what happens then.
Hey, be careful going home.
Freeze over. Yeah, I'm going to. All right, everybody. I appreciate your time tonight. Call and email if you need me. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you, Dale.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it, buddy.